Right now, we're trying to grow bacteria at my house. My daughter's got some type of science.
Over to my house.
We got plenty to spare.
It's the IDP show, now you know.
Welcome to the IDP show. I'm your host, Josh Raymer, joined in the Sode Shack tonight, Adam Markham, Bobby Reynolds. In this episode, everything you need to know from Week 15 of the 2024 NFL season. We got you covered. First round of the fantasy playoffs for most leagues. It was a doozy. I saw a lot of high scores this week, boys, and we're going to touch on all the flops, all the studs, what you need to know going into Week 2 of your playoffs. Addy, I think you still alive in a few leagues.
Yeah.
Looking good?
Yeah, mixed bag. First week of the playoffs. Won half, lost half. You know, all of them were very close. Lost a matchup to Kyle B. Thanks to Saquon, or thanks to JT dropping the touchdown.
Oh, my God.
That was nice. Lost by 5. So
Don't even get me
felt
started
good.
on that.
But, you know, don't want to make too many excuses. Could have also started better guys, but it happens.
Hey, a running back dropping the ball short of the goal line.
That's very annoying. Yeah, I was ready to go find JT, no doubt.
I think it was Lance Zierlein that said, like, let's have the NFL fine these guys like $250,000, and it will never happen again. Bobo, I don't know if the Colts would have won that game had JT held onto the ball across the goal line, but we weren't winning it after that play. You could just feel it. As a Colts fan, you're like, yep, that's it. That's going to be it for us.
I chuckled that Adam actually put JT on the trade block in Unreal.
It's where it belongs.
Trades have been done now for the better part of 3 weeks.
Just got to send a message to the locker room, like, we do not tolerate dropping the ball short of the goal line.
Oh, me.
Yeah, it was quite a weekend. Your boys, your Vikes look good. Got a big dub on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, tied now with the Lions for the division.
And the Lions are trending down with all these injuries. We're going to
Yeah.
talk about it tonight, but you guys are healthy, looking good.
We played them, I think, last week of the year. That's going to be nuts.
Oh, my God, what a game.
Yeah.
That could be for the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Eagles in the mix, too. Your Rammies won probably the worst game of the season on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, it was tough to watch.
No touchdowns is a tough look.
For sure.
It's a tough
No
watch.
catches for Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, big old offer from Cooper Kupp. That was fun.
Puka's pretty unstoppable.
Puka's really good.
Golly.
And then, my Colts get their doors blown off by the Denver Broncos. So just thank God, like, the season's over. I don't have to care about this team anymore. We'll see.
Where are we at with A-Rich? Do we?
He's so hot and cold. It's really hard to put, like, to say like, oh, he's progressing really well because he'll have a couple good weeks, then he'll just have, the worst offensive performance like you've ever seen.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think we
That's
give it
tough.
one more year and then, coach, GM, quarterback all shoved out and start over. You take a swing, but, it's big old question mark through almost 2 seasons.
And it could be the environment for him, right? He's had that same coaching staff. Like, we see what it does for other players.
Yeah. He's one of those that could, revive his career somewhere else if it doesn't work out in Indy. Will Levis got benched tonight. I saw, so we're like, I think it's easy to say, like, oh, it's Jover for Will Levis, but
Internet got a little less funny.
it did. Hey, we had a good final Will Levis meme. I don't know if you saw that one that
that.
Mike dropped in the chat, but
nice.
Our meme king has been laid to rest, Bobo.
It's about time.
As has Kirk Cousins. I don't know if y'all saw, but Michael Penix's getting the
Yeah.
start for the Falcons moving forward. So
That'll
that'll be fun because Cousins has been very, very bad.
Yeah, Mooney put me up a cool 0 against Mac.
There you go.
So, Phoenix
Circle
season.
like the moon. Big old circle.
We love this game.
We do. We're not
a
going
lot of fun.
insane here at the end
I'm
of the
not
year.
mad. I'm not mad at all about what happened to me this weekend.
Hey, someone who was mad, though, boys. We're going to kick things off on our recap in Thursday Night Football in Santa Clara, right?
Yeah.
It's not San Francisco where the stadium is. It's Santa Clara. And Niners, Rams, not much action, but we found out afterwards what happened with Devontae Campbell. Addy, I think if we go back through the archives, we can actually find it. You kind of predicting that Campbell was going to melt down at some point.
Yeah.
I think you said something along the lines of this dude's a head case, so who knows how it's going to go in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's how we saw him finish his career out in Green Bay, right? He was very vocal about being unhappy there. And yeah, just, where he seemed like the type of guy that's doesn't have the most self-awareness in him,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that stuff doesn't usually get better, and especially as you get older and your play starts to decline.
And
it's tough for people like that in this world.
The guy that you're replacing comes back. Like make no mistake, this was a Dre Greenlaw starts above Devondre Campbell, who's been starting all season because Dre's been working back from a torn Achilles. Active for the first time this season. Didn't play most of the second half because of Achilles and knee tightness, which is, to be expected. Devondre Campbell asked to go in by Kyle Shanahan. He refused, stormed off to the locker room because he lost the starting role. And the last I saw was the 49ers are planning to suspend Campbell without pay for the final 3 games of the regular season. Bobo, they don't want to release Campbell and have him join another team as a reward for his actions. So Devondre Campbell, I think that might be a career killer.
You think maybe he was teaching Quay a little bit? You think maybe that's why Quay was acting out there first season in Green Bay?
Yeah, maybe so. Trying to impress Devondre, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Look, I could be immature too, Devondre. I could throw a big old fit. I mean, yeah, the sulking headed to the locker room.
Way too old for that, man. That is just a terrible look.
And what did you think was going to happen, Devondre? Yeah. You were brought in as Dre Greenlaw insurance.
Yeah, man. Like it was very obvious you were like a Band-Aid.
Yeah, you were
Everyone
just temporary.
knew. You're the only person that didn't know this.
And you haven't been playing great, brother.
We all knew it.
Yeah.
We all talked about it off season.
Were you not watching film like, damn, I'm not that good anymore?
Yeah, bro. I mean, it took you a little bit to sign with the 49ers. Like, the expectations that this guy had for himself, just a little too high. And,
I appreciate confident athletes. Self-confidence is important, but you also got to have just a smidge of awareness.
Yeah, I appreciate the aware ones, honestly.
Yeah, the aware ones. You got to know when you're bad. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And Devondre Campbell did not know that.
Big baby Devondre. Dwayne, come back. I can't play no more.
You did say you were going to bust out the baby cry.
I have to.
I think the retention on the YouTube graph just dropped off right there. I did like the headline from Aaron. Can't spell Campbell without AB. It was very much an AB
Yeah, that
situation.
was a good one. That was a good one.
But speaking of Green Bay boys, point number 2, Edgerrin Cooper, Quay Walker, to the locker room. We'll see. I think we're going to have to keep an eye on some practice reports this week to see what his status is. But Edgerrin Cooper in place. Eric Wilson was the Quay Walker replacement, so don't miss that. But Isaiah McDuffie, Edgerrin Cooper splitting time as that second linebacker behind Eric Wilson. Edgerrin Cooper joined the very rare, very elite club of 40 burger scorers in your rookie season. Cameron Kinchins, Devon Witherspoon, Jalen Petre, Marcus Jones, Kayvon Thibodeau, only players to do it in their rookie season since 2022. He was a big play machine against the Seahawks. 2 PDs, 2 TFLs, 2 QB hits, a sack, and a pick in his first game back from injury since Week 11. His 93.8 overall PFF grade is the highest single game grade of any Packers player in the past 2 seasons, minimum 10 snaps. So
huge.
I kind of want to see, is it looking like maybe Eric Wilson, McDuffie get out of the way next season and it's Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper as the 2 3-down guys?
Of course.
I'm really hoping that's what this is trending towards.
Yeah, and what was most impressive to me about Edgerrin Cooper was the post-game interview he did. Dude is very mature, very thought he answered the questions great, seemed like a leader type. So yeah, I think he's going to be the real deal there. We've got him pretty high now in the ranks. He might be inside the top 5. If he's not, he will be.
I think the flashes we've seen this season, Bobo, just show the potential that you have with Edgerrin Cooper. Dude's a playmaker.
Yeah, he's a baller. You got him right now as the LB4, Addy. And, I don't hate that. A guy who...
Wow, good job by me.
He was comped to be kind of like a little Ernest Jones coming in. And I think that we saw the maturity in the draft process and also the athleticism. I mean, Edgerrin Cooper was a, pretty standout to me as far as linebackers coming in. I didn't really see this type of season coming from him because I really thought McDuffie's play was going to be better than it's been this year. McDuffie's been pretty disappointing, not only for where he was drafted in the best balls and everything, but just overall production in Dynasty has been pretty bad. Edgerrin Cooper, yeah, I mean, with Quay there, it's got to be him and Quay, but I mean, it's kind of concerning still for Quay. is it them two moving forward? Yes, but the professionalism and kind of the persona that he brings kind of overshadows Quay a little bit in that regard. You know what I mean?
Just the grade. I mean, having the single highest graded game in the past 2 seasons for the entire Packers defense.
Yeah.
It's very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, when you have someone that's standing out like that and as impressive as Cooper is, I think it makes someone like Quay look a lot worse and, maybe make a little bit expendable. So, yeah, I mean, Edgerrin Cooper is going to be the guy there.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Quay Walker, injured ankle in the first half, did not return to the game, played just 22 snaps before departing. He'll undergo further testing this week to determine the severity. I think it's Eric Wilson is the Quay Walker replacement. We've seen this already this season. We had a question from our buddy Scott that we shouted out last week asking, do we trust Edgerrin Cooper or
this year.
Do we roll with Eric Wilson? I said I would love to say go with Edgerrin Cooper because we've seen the big play upside, but you got to go Eric Wilson this week if you're looking for the Packers linebacker.
Yeah. I'd have a hard time rolling any of them out, though, this week.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm in a really bad situation, but I mean, at this point, hopefully you're not. I guess I'm sure there's some people out there in a pinch, but man, that would just be, I'd feel very weird starting any of those guys at this point in the season.
Yeah, because you can't really start McDuffie or Edgerrin Cooper because they're splitting time.
Yeah.
And even Eric Wilson, I don't know that I trust him enough.
He's just not that good.
Yeah. And I mean, after Cooper's, week he just had, do they let him play a little more? I just feel it's just too much of a question mark. I'm not looking for any question marks.
You're trying to play it safe.
Yeah.
57.6% of snaps for Edgerrin Cooper, 42.4 for Isaiah McDuffie. So, yeah, it's situation worth monitoring because Quay's been pretty solid this year. So if he comes back, that's the answer.
Someone will do well there. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't want to figure out who it is.
It is.
Man, if they were to have just let Edgerrin Cooper at it, just play 100% of the snaps.
Oh yeah.
Man, dude would have been a baller. I mean, Edgerrin Cooper gives me real it's kind of a buy right now because I think he's still kind of cheap relative to what 2025 and 2026 could look like. I mean, the playing time is only going to get up. The guy's already being productive. I mean, I think he could maybe be an overall linebacker 1. He's going to have the chance to in the next couple seasons.
Yes, I agree.
He's kind of like a little Dallas Turner to me. We talked about Dallas Turner being a nice buy last last week. And Edgerrin Cooper's kind of the same just because the playing time hasn't really – I mean, he got 71% of the snaps in week 11. I think that's the highest that I see just because they have other dudes there.
I forget what point in the season we were talking about it, but I feel like it was 6 or 7 weeks in. Edgerrin Cooper was number 1 in points per snap. I remember having that little blurb.
Yes.
And, I mean, I don't think he's done really much to bring that down too much. I mean, he's still stuffing the stat sheet like crazy.
Well, he's been out since, week 11?
Yeah. So he does a lot with a little right now, and so he's one of those types where you get excited. Like, what does it look like when he gets a full load?
3.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 INT on the season. I love to see that. I love when it's not just tackles. When you can get some big plays in there, the team's going to leave you on the field. If you're getting some turnovers.
Eric Wilson, I just wish he has had a couple boom games this year. He had. 10.5, 15.25, so not bad. But he did have a 39.2 output in week 7 against Houston. That was 5 tackles and 2 sacks. But you look at his total tackles in the games where he's played. Now, let's look at games where he's played more than 30 snaps, for example. 5, 9, 3, 3, 3, 1. That's just not a lot of tackles. The tackle efficiency is just not there for Eric Wilson.
Yeah, I like a guy that has a nice floor with the tackles.
Yeah, it's just not quite there. So,
would you trade a 25 second for Edgerrin Cooper?
Like a mid second, yeah, probably so. Early second,
probably not.
But I mean,
that's probably a fair asking price.
I'm not gonna fault you though if you do.
Yeah, because we talk ourselves into these guys every single year.
Yeah,
you look at all the guys that were picked from 201 to 207 in a maybe, 1 QB league.
Maybe 3 or 4 of them hit.
Yeah.
You're trying to get those guys off your roster mid-season.
You're Roshan Johnson.
Why am I holding these guys?
Yeah.
Well, speaking, we were talking a little bit before we got on mic, boys, about IDP scoring just down a little bit. And in large part, it has been because of injuries, and especially to our premier edge rushers. One of the brightest shining stars from the past couple seasons, Max Crosby, hit IR earlier this week. Going to require ankle surgery, ending his season. We got to see more of Tyree Wilson, and he got after Kirk Cousins, the now benched Kirk Cousins, giving him his third sack in his last 5 games. Wilson was always going to be a project coming out of Texas A&M, but it's encouraging to see more and more flashes as we come to the end of his second season.
Yep.
There's something here, Eddie. I don't know what it is.
No,
but
yeah. This has been the same thing with Tyree all year, right? You know, he does flash, then he's going to be quiet for a couple weeks.
hey, it could be a Miles Murphy where he's
right. Not doing
literally
anything.
no signs of life whatsoever.
Yeah. No, this is fine. I mean, he's like Arn hit on
Hey.
it. He was a project from the beginning. Like this was missed the first year because of injury,
Yeah.
right?
If you're wanting like a dynasty edge stash, go see if Tyree Wilson's out there on your waiver wire.
Yeah.
Right? Just
Yeah, sure. He'd be,
give it a little
yeah.
peek.
He should not be on waivers.
Because isn't Malcolm Kuntz a free agent, or did he get paid?
He's a free agent.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
is.
what I thought. So, and then also, just real quickly, Adam Butler, third straight game with a sack, 4 out of his last 5 games with at least half a sack. Since Vegas's Week 10 bye, Butler has averaged almost 15 points per game at the DT position, making him one of the most reliable plays, especially in those D-tackle required leagues. So just a quick shout out to Adam Butler, especially if you're in DT required leagues.
Good first name.
That's right. Maybe the best first name. We've talked a lot on this show recently, boys, about Nik Bonitto. It was a little quiet last week because the team was on bye, but the man came back in a big way. If you take out the Week 14 bye, that's defensive touchdowns in back-to-back games to the third-year player out of Oklahoma and another half sack to add to his total. He's up to 11.5 on the season. How high up the Dynasty Edge rankings does he go? Addy, do you put him ahead of young injured guys like Aiden Hutchinson or Jalen Phillips, or old guys pushing 30 like TJ Watt or Myles Garrett?
Definitely ahead of Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips has fallen quite a bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's sad.
A lot to overcome for OJP. But, yeah, I mean, Benito's going to be up there. I mean, he's 26. I mean, do you want him over Trayvon Walker?
Yes.
You do?
That's pretty close, but
Trayvon's 24. Benito's about to be 26, I believe.
I'll take Bonitto.
I think I'll take Trayvon.
I think that's close, though. Those
similar.
are the guys in the
I like
same
the
range, I
age
think.
discrepancy.
What about you want Danielle Hunter for the last, part of his career, or would you rather have Bonitto?
Oh, boy.
Daniel's 30.2 years old. Give me Danielle.
I'll take Danielle Hunter. Yep.
Trey Hendrickson, same story.
Give me Bonitto.
I think, oh, boy. Maybe Bonitto.
What about Alex Highsmith?
Man.
Bonitto.
Probably Bonitto.
Yeah, Highsmith is kind of frustrating at this
Yeah,
point.
he is.
Yeah. It's just Herbig is looming. You got TJ Watt there who could, retire early, or he could play until he's 35 years old.
I just feel like Highsmith doesn't have a very high ceiling.
Yeah.
Highsmith.
High ceiling. He's not Alex High Ceiling. That we know.
It's true. We want Bonitto over Thule. Chop
Yes.
Robinson's looking great.
Chop
He is.
Lob. Yeah, he's Chop Lobinson. Chop Lob. Looking real good.
What about Nolan Smith?
Yeah, definitely over Nolan Smith.
No one's not up that high yet.
No, he's.
We talking him tonight?
We are.
We can wait.
Yeah, let's save that for
But
the
yeah, that combo later.
He's been better as of late, no doubt.
I would probably have Nik Bonitto inside my top, 10 Dynasty edge rushers. At least in the top 12.
Wow.
What about Rousseau?
Because there's just a lot of dudes with question marks now.
So Rousseau is 24.7.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is a good one.
I probably take Rousseau.
Because of the age.
Yeah,
But he's never done what Bonitto's done this
I know.
season.
I
Yeah.
know. And they got rid of Baron Browning to clear the lane a little bit.
Yeah, Bonitto has another year there under contract.
Uh-huh.
It's close.
I mean, and he's going to maybe set himself up for a really big payday
Yep.
that Denver probably shouldn't pay. That's
know-
the thing. I don't know that I trust Bonitto too much long term. Like I think he's going to be a nice little asset the next couple of years, but I'm still like a little nervous to like overinvest in him.
I know.
On
it's like
Bonitto?
we're seeing a
Bonitto,
lot,
yeah.
but anybody with higher draft capital or more track record of success is going to be probably just a smidge more appealing.
And also, how fluky was that play last week.
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
Right.
Yeah. I was
Like, it was one of the dumbest play calls ever.
yeah, just like really.
And then the week before was also, what did he do? I can't. It was another touchdown. I don't remember how he got
week
it.
13.
Gosh, I don't remember it either.
But he had a defensive touchdown. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, that one was crazy. He literally just broke on the ball. As
I mean,
they
that
were
was
throwing
sick.
It, back
It was,
to
it was
A-Rich.
really cool looking.
Yeah.
And he does look, he's a great athlete, no doubt about it.
I think he will get paid. I think that will help.
Intercepted Jameis Winston and took it 71 yards for a
right.
touchdown.
That's
pick
right.
six.
Yes.
Forgot about that.
So it's like, but you do see the sacks as well. This is not just like all these fluky pick six,
Yeah.
big scoring outputs.
And the sacks were there last
right.
season too.
11 and a half. He's what, second in the league right now, I think.
Yep.
This is probably a little too high, but like Bonitto or Latu.
Probably still a lot too.
Yeah, still a lot too, I think.
That's close though.
A lot closer. Yeah, a lot closer than it
Yeah,
was.
a lot closer than it's been. Hey, we wanted someone to emerge from that Denver D line.
Bonitto was probably on waivers in a lot of leagues,
Yeah.
We mentioned a little bit earlier the Vikes trending up, Lions winning. Well, they lost to the Bills, but trending down also because of injuries. Lost 3 defensive starters in that game. Aleem McNeil, Carlton Davis, and Khalil Dorsey all suffered season-ending injuries on Sunday.
It's tough.
That gives the Lions an old-school 4-4 defense on IR. Aiden Hutchinson, Aleem McNeil, John Kaminsky, Marcus Davenport on the DL, Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone, Malcolm Rodriguez, Jalen Reeves-Maben at LB, and then Carlton Davis, Ennis Rakestraw, and Ifeati Melifonwu as the DBs.
Wow.
So you
Pretty
could
good-
field
pretty
pretty
good
much
lineup.
an entire starting defense with their IR'd players. So I think this is going to cost the Lions a real shot at the Super Bowl. You're just too banged up.
Yeah, the
Just
Montgomery
bad luck.
That Montgomery injury is really bad too. So
Yeah, David Montgomery, another starter.
Aiden was a large part of their run last year.
Did you see that he said he's going to try to come back for the Super Bowl?
No way.
It's like, Aiden, buddy, don't do that.
please don't.
Please don't. We don't want to. Nobody wants to see that. The Bills also got banged up in that game, though. Matt Milano left the game in the fourth with a groin injury, replaced by Balin Spector. Dorian Williams sustained an elbow injury in the first half. He was able to return in the second half. Cole Bishop also got the start. DeMar Hamlin missed due to a back injury. But Bishop had to leave the game early in the fourth with cramping in his lower leg and was carted to the locker room for treatment, did not return. So bodies were just dropping left, right, and center as the points and the yards were dropping in Lions-Bills.
Come on, Cole.
Little bit of a bloodbath.
Get you some pickle juice.
Get you some pickle juice and stop cramping, dog. What are we doing?
This is your chance, brother.
And also, wasn't that game in Detroit? Like in a dome stadium? So
Yeah.
why are you cramping,
He's
brother?
not used to playing outside.
Thermostat
Yes.
too high.
I don't know what's going on. So yeah, let's see if how serious them. That worries me. Milano having to leave.
Yeah, it's Milano's story, though. isn't it?
Man, if we get Balin Spector, I remember. I don't know if it was 2 years ago. I think it was when the Bills played the Steelers or something like that, and they were legit down to like their 7th string linebacker in that game. It was like AJ Klein or somebody. I remember watching the game in Vegas at Circa, and I'm like, Allie, I don't even know who is next on the depth chart. We are so far down the depth chart. I think Dorian Williams got in
Yeah.
because it was his rookie year, so it was probably last year.
Tyrell Dodson was.
Yeah,
probably
Dodson was in
leaned
there. AJ Klein, I think, was in there.
Yeah.
It was just gruesome. But we're getting to that point of the season if we got Balin the Spector in there.
I
Bobo.
can't quit thinking about Cole Bishop in the dome. Right now, we're trying to grow bacteria at my house. My daughter's got some type of
Over
science.
to my house.
We got plenty to spare.
Yeah.
You don't got to grow it. You can just harvest it
Yeah,
right
a lot
off
of
my
it
face.
in the bathroom. That's probably where it's most concentrated, is the bathroom. And
it-
toilets.
It is
The
kind of
turlets.
concerning how so apparently to grow bacteria you have to swab an area and then put it in a petri dish and then leave it under a heat lamp at 98 degrees or something. We have been unsuccessful so far in our bacteria attempts, so we'll let you know what's going on.
Just a class
So
thing,
she's-
or just
She's just
side?
super into it.
She's doing a science experiment about the 5-second rule. Like if you were to pick food up off the floor, does it being down there any longer actually make a difference?
They did an experiment on that, and it was true. That the bacteria
You
did
just
not
ruined her
transfer.
day, Josh.
Just see,
now
see
she
if-
didn't have to
hey,
finish the experiment.
Spoiler alert.
She's crying right now.
Hey, just see if her experiment backs it up. You know, you got to continue to do research and prove these out.
No, experiment's over.
Experiment
World's been
over.
ruined.
Yeah.
That's all she wanted for Christmas, Josh.
Boys,
A little bit of bacteria.
just a little bit, Daddy, under the heat lamp. What are we doing with Furious George Karlaftis, fellas? It's been a frustrating 2024 season, but he did come through with 2 sacks, 25 fantasy points.
We're selling them.
Yeah, what do we think here? He gets a pass rusher friendly matchup in Houston next week. You riding the wave?
Nope.
Just out.
Yeah, just hoping I can sell him because I know he's going to be frustrating. He's never going to be the type that has a big high ceiling. So
Is he kind of in the Alex high ceiling camp?
yeah, I think so. He's fine, but like
He still could fetch a nice little return for you.
yeah. Could you get a?
Did you get a third?
Third.
I think you get a third.
I'd say so.
Somebody would take a swing on that.
Right now, well, I mean,
He is still really young too. Isn't he like 23, and this is like year 3 for him.
Yeah, and especially if he puts up 2 back-to-back big games in the playoffs, you could maybe sell that.
23.7.
There you go. You mentioned Nolan Smith, though, Bobo. He is getting continued playing time in the absence of Brandon Graham, who's on IR. He played over 90% of snaps this past week.
Let's go.
And he's having this kind of week-on, week-off situation when it comes to getting sacks. He has 1 sack in every other game the past 6 weeks and is now up to 5.5 on the season.
That's impressive.
So there you go. Nolan Smith, climbing the dynasty ranks just a little bit because Brandon Graham probably done.
Yeah.
I know he had talked about retiring after the season. We'll see if he wants to go out like the way he did. But Karlaftis and Nolan Smith kind of feel like 2 ships passing in the night a little bit in terms of dynasty rankings. Karlaftis is kind of sinking. Nolan Smith's kind of
I
rising.
think you're right.
So
Yeah, Nolan Smith's just kind of a cast-off. Another ship reference. Castaway.
what was it, Flotsam and Jetsam that we had to break down one time on the show?
I don't remember that at all.
We didn't know which was which.
Okay.
Flotsam and Jetsam. Do you remember this, Addy?
No, still don't know.
Someone go back and
don't
find that
recall that.
for us.
Don't know anything about that.
Did you see the video of Nolan Smith jumping a running back this week? So I need to find the video because I couldn't find it. But watching the game, I forget who they were playing, but he hurdles the running back trying to
Wow.
to do a little pass protection.
Wow.
It was pretty impressive.
He's
Nolan
an
Smith's
athlete.
really not that big of a dude though.
He's more like an off-ball linebacker size.
like he's kind of short, kind of smaller, but he's a quick little fella.
I kind of wonder, are we looking at like a Zach Bond type of career arc for Nolan Smith? Is he just too... He's obviously got some prowess as a pass rusher. I just don't know if he has the size
yeah.
to make it long-term.
Don't know that he can ever be elite at at pass
I
rushing.
think he's just too small.
Yeah.
I don't think he has the bulk.
Maybe seems like just kind of a career rotational type of guy. It's still really early, and he was great at Georgia, but
Eagles defense is playing well, and he's getting snaps, though.
And they need him there too, for
sure.
sure. And they're going to need him next year, probably even more.
Yeah.
Graham's done, right? This is his final
Graham's
year.
done. They hate Bryce Huff's guts with a
Right.
passion, like a burning passion.
Josh Sweat's played okay this year.
Yeah, yeah. I like Josh Sweat.
Yeah,
He's got one of the sickest celebrations out there.
100%.
Which one is his?
It's the,
Yep.
Oh, I like that a lot. I saw Mac Jones did the Rizzler,
oh,
like
did
the
he?
neck, and I was like, oh, that ruined Rizzler for me. The
He's feeling
Rizzler's-
himself.
Yeah, he was. He was, indeed. Old dogs, same tricks. We got to give a shout out to Demario Davis, 35 years of age. So he's like close to
Wow.
our age, boys. His could be his last season in the NFL, and after originally looking like he might just limp to the long night of retirement, he now could be going out with a bang. He put up 50 points in the past 2 games combined, 22 tackles, a sack, and an INT in that stretch. Speaking of, I think we actually kind of crapped on this guy last week. Another 35-year-old balling when the chips are down. Cameron Jordan, the IDP legend, tripled his season sack total for 2024 with 2 on Sunday afternoon and posted his best IDP score of the season. And then the legend, Lavonte David, soon-to-be 35-year-old, had his second best game of the year in Week 15, put up over 30 points on 12 tackles and 1.5 sacks. Our legends are getting it done for us, and we thank you.
Yes, sir. See, hey, it ain't all over after 30.
It's pretty close, though.
It's pretty close.
You
though.
feel the icy grip
Yeah,
of
I
death
guarantee
around
you
your
all
neck.
those guys feel terrible today.
Yeah, they feel like they've been in They always say you feel like you've been in a car crash. Those dudes have been in multiple car crashes. Their backs and knees.
Yeah, like cars rolling over in those wrecks.
Yeah, the really bad ones. I don't know why my brain transitioned to this. I think I was thinking of like old dudes who still got it. Mike Vick, did y'all see going to take the head coaching job at Norfolk State?
No, I didn't see that.
Yes.
Norfolk, Virginia?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, going back, that's where he played college ball, right?
Virginia Tech.
Yep.
Lynchburg, right? So
What college is this, though?
Norfolk State. I think it's a FCS. So maybe
Cool.
trying to
Like
go
doing
the
the Dion route.
yeah.
Hey,
start
shout
off
out-
at a small school.
My college roommate, his brother-in-law, just got the head coaching job at UMass.
That's cool.
Wow.
Old Joey, I can't say his last name. It's
Shout out Joey.
I think it's Joey H. It's like a really long
Nice.
name. He's been great though. He was the defensive coordinator for who's the dude with the rowing the boat? Minnesota, maybe that was their like tow the rope, pull the rope, or tow the boat, or
Make the bacteria.
yeah.
Whatever it was. Whatever the hell it was. I want to give a quick shout out here too. Hylam Adventures 4060, one of our frequent YouTube commenters.
I forgot about Belichick too.
Yeah, Belichick. Yeah, UNC. Shout out. He said, happy holidays. I know you guys are prepping for the upcoming Week 15 recap show. Just wanted to pass along some info. Cameron Jordan, he has 42 tackles, 14 and a half sacks, 25 QB hits, 20-plus TFLs during the fantasy playoffs going back to 2021. Yesterday, he had 6 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 TFLs, and 2 QB hits. He must have drafted himself in leagues that start or play IDP.
He does sub the website.
He does. I can see him. He's one of our top supporters, so shout out.
He's upset about his ranks.
Yeah, he's like, come on now. What are we doing here? Show some love to the old guys.
Wouldn't
Why
it be
am I not
fun?
on the dynasty ranks?
Wouldn't it be fun to see a bunch of them in the ranks? You know, they're in the spreadsheets with Harms.
Yeah, there it's Eric, it's Andrew Preston, it's Cam Jordan.
Their little
Lavonte
picks
David.
pop
Yeah.
up on the Google thing.
It's like, is that actual Lavonte David? And it's like, yes, it is.
Oh wow.
So Bill Belichick, you mentioned Bobo, his former team, the New England Patriots.
They should get us the like the Madden
Beautiful transition. Stepped all over it.
Madden clipboard over on the sideline, the ratings adjustings. We should be on the sidelines. You
True.
know,
Should, yeah.
IDP ranks
Just the dynasty
adjustings.
ranks. You miss a tackle,
Shaking
drop
your
down a
head,
couple
not
spots.
jotting down some notes.
Well, we had a little bit of a flashback here with Marcus Jones getting an offensive snap on Sunday. It was targeted for an 18-yard reception on that snap. So what's going on? We'll see, but just something to pay attention to. Really, this was just a segue to talk about Travis Hunter, just because that's something what's on our minds here with the season turning over. Wins the Heisman Trophy, so congratulations to Travis Hunter. Bobo, I believe you put his 2024 stats here in the doc, so why don't you read those off for us?
I did. So a degenerate friend of mine, Ben Ratty, and me have been kind of talking about this. He's a Colorado fan. Travis Hunter, 2024 stats. Offensively, 94 receptions, 1,152 yards, and 14 touchdowns. I didn't realize he had 14 touchdowns. That's pretty crazy. 2 rushing attempts for 5 yards, so pretty much nothing. But defensively, 21 solos, 11 assists, 1 TFL, 4 interceptions, 1 fumble forced, and 11 PDs. So this is not quite big three scoring. This is XFL, which is just a touch different. He scored 81.75 IDP points and scored 293.2 offensive points in 12 games. So that's not in the 15-game season that a lot of our guys, normally would have scored. If he would have kept that pace, let's just, play what ifs. If he would have kept that pace, you're looking at 468 points in Big Three scoring, making him the number 1 scorer over Lamar. That's college. I get it. It doesn't always translate, but it's going to be crazy. The other thing to pay attention to is Travis Hunter played more snaps at cornerback than he did at wide receiver last year, which means if you're in a lot of these leagues that pay attention to, how guys come in as far as outside linebacker, did they rush more? Did they drop back in coverage? That's going to dictate whether they come in as an edge or as a linebacker. Travis Hunter potentially could come in as a cornerback, which would blow some people's brains. So right now, what is he at? He's at 300 and almost 70 points. The highest scoring cornerback in the XFL right now, I think, is at like 170.
Yeah.
So you're outscoring the number 2 cornerback by over 200 points.
If he has the opportunity to play both positions at the next level, that dude is worthy of the number 1 overall pick in rookie drafts. Because even if you don't get the dual designation, like on a sleeper platform, most platforms are going to allow you to be able to score defensive points for offensive players and vice versa.
Yeah.
Now, the real cheat code is if you get to start him at either position.
Yeah.
But like you said, if he is labeled as a cornerback on your platform but playing wide receiver snaps,
that's the cheatiest code.
that is we talk about cheat code all the time. This is cheat code on a level that we've never seen before.
Yeah, you put Jamar Chase at cornerback, and then you can still play your other normal wide receivers. That's something that we've never had to come across.
Yep. So just be curious. The situation he lands in.
If he were to go to New England, that seems like a pretty pretty good system too. I don't think it's not going to be 100% of both snaps, but it could be 100% of the offensive snaps, and then maybe 30% defensive snaps. The snaps that really count, they put him in there on third down when it's a clear passing down.
So you're thinking the other way. You're thinking he's going to be playing more offense versus.
I'm saying it could go either way. I don't think it'll be 100% defense. It's not going to be like Dion. It's not.
If he goes to New England, he could legitimately play both ways because that team is so talent poor on both sides of the ball that I think you could see a
Does he want to play
player.
both ways still?
He said he did.
Yeah.
He said he did.
I mean, if he can do it,
Why not?
yeah.
Can you do it against NFL competition though? That's gonna be curious. I think it's fun to say that, and I like that confidence, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It's a big jump.
I think he's a better cornerback than wide receiver, but it's hard to look away from 91, 11, 52, and 14.
And if he goes to a team like New England, hell, even New York Giants at number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, who are their wide receivers there outside of Malik Neighbors that you're scared about? You're telling me you compare Neighbors and Travis Hunter? Now, they're probably going quarterback, if I had to guess.
It's going to be really hard this year if you have one of the top 3 picks, because you've got 3 pretty crazy players in Jeanty and Hunter, and then in Ted McMillan, in my opinion right now. Right now, you can make a case for any of them, maybe at 101, but the process will, it'll give us a little bit more clarity as to, okay, Hunter is in Carolina. Maybe there's not as, Carolina might actually set up pretty good for him to play both ways as well. But we'll know more when we have landing spots. But
Yeah. Las Vegas, New York Giants, New England, Jacksonville, Carolina, top 5 draft order right now.
Wow.
So you figure 1 and 2 probably going quarterback, Vegas and the Giants. And then New England could be a logical landing spot there for Travis Hunter.
Did y'all agree with the Heisman?
I thought it should have been Jeanty.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it should have been Jeanty.
Yeah, and I don't know that. I think just the uncertainty with Hunter and like what position, how's the split's going to work out with defense, offense. That'll keep him from being the 101.
Yeah.
But he'll be 102 is going to be tough.
Yeah.
102 is very tough, I think. I think 101 is
What happens
you
if
go RB, you go with Ashton.
What happens if though New England takes him at 103, right? 3rd overall pick, and Gerard Mayo, if he's still the coach, comes out and says, "Yeah, our plan is to play Travis Hunter both ways," and your draft is 5 days later. What happens? I think that's
You draft Ashton Jeanty.
I think I trade back from the 101 to the 102 and then just take whoever
Maybe.
falls to me.
Maybe, but
Make someone else make that pick.
Did you see Jeanty's PFF grade was like 92.5? If he had won the Heisman, it would have been the highest scoring PFF grade of any offensive player of all time. I don't understand the
good.
Travis Hunter thing.
It's good.
really
I think
his-
just playing
his
two
grades
ways.
weren't very good from what I
No.
saw.
It was, yeah. I mean, they
And it's
obviously graded
Colorado,
him
too,
both
is-
sides.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I get it's same
And
thing
people
with,
will say that about Jeanty too.
for sure.
But now what's fun about Jeanty is that you get to see him in these college football playoffs. So you get to see him against a couple of other
Yeah,
teams.
seriously.
Everybody's going to say, well, went against the SEC. Well, I forget who Boise State plays in week 1.
I think they have a bye, don't they? Or is it the top 2 teams get a bye?
Top 4 teams get a bye. So
Then
you're right. They do have
they're
a
one
bye.
of the top 4.
That's interesting.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I'm
It's gonna be a
excited to
mess.
see. Yeah, we were talking tonight, like the bowl game situation is such a mess now with like Marshall's entire team in the transfer portal. They had to forfeit their bowl game.
Yeah.
Western, our local team, Western Kentucky, their whole team's in the transfer portal. So who knows who's going to be playing these bowl games? Players should not be able to enter the transfer portal until after bowl season is over.
But-
and let's cancel some of these bowls. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Having like 40 bowl games at this point?
Yeah.
So, anyways.
The Modelo Memphis Bowl.
Yeah, money. Well, and that's the thing, though.
That one.
We were saying
one can stay.
they're not making money on these bowl games. It's just a tax write-off.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. It's a marketing expense.
Just a corporate greed, man.
Because it's like no one's at the game. You pan around and there's like 48 fans in the stands. Who's watching these games at like 2:30 p.m. on a Tuesday? Nobody.
I'm way more concerned about injury is what I'm
Yeah.
concerned about. It's
Like,
4 more games.
Our
on
starting
schedule.
quarterback went into the portal after the game or after the season was over. Don't blame him, but he's starting the bowl game.
Wow.
That's dumb.
Yeah, that
you
is
go in there
dumb.
and blow your knee out in a meaningless Pop-Tart bowl or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
And now your portal chances are just blown all to hell.
What's your take on NIL stuff?
It's wild.
I mean, I
Ruin the game.
I get it. I'm gonna do the exact same thing that these guys are doing. If
Oh,
University
yeah.
of Memphis is paying me 1.4 and all Western's offering is 800,000, I'm heading to Memphis. But
it's wild though because it's like the NFL if players were free agents every single offseason.
yes,
Like think about the kind of parallels there. That would be insanity.
there's no contracts.
No.
It's just the Wild West.
It's fun. I mean, as a very, very casual college fan, I love it because it's just like chaos, baby.
I do hate though that like my dad was saying that Western basketball's attendance is like a high school game.
It's abysmal.
He said
Really?
there's
It's
no
bad.
one there. I wonder if they won tonight. Speaking of, they said the basketball is just really, really tough. I should have tried out this year. I got one more year.
Nobody's got time for
eligibility.
that stuff.
Yeah.
We got time for it.
You know,
Yeah,
they don't.
they don't. They really don't.
You know,
I ain't got time.
wish I did.
Wish it did.
But it don't.
Let's wrap up with a couple safeties, though, boys. Dane Belton, he was replacing Tyler Newbin, who was placed on IR this past week. Ankle injury, that sucks. It will probably require surgery, according to Brian Daboll. Okereke, still out. And Dane Belton made the most of his opportunity with the Giants' 2 leading tacklers out of the way. He led the team in tackles 23.7% tackle rate, and was in on a sack of Lamar Jackson, just shy of 30 points. And then right before we came out to record, Budda Baker, we wondered, I think last week we had this conversation, because he's the second leading tackler in the NFL still, behind only Zaire Franklin. According to Rap Sheet, Arizona Cardinals star Budda Baker have reached a 3-year, $54 million extension that includes $30 million guaranteed. Budda Baker got paid. You love to see it. I think this solidifies him inside the top 6 dynasty safeties.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
this
I think
payday?
so. I think so. I mean, do we expect him to get released that 3rd year? Probably.
Probably.
You know, that's what happens with all these safeties. Like Kevin Byard, same thing. Remember, he got that big deal. Basically, every safety we would name is been through the same situation. So, but yeah, I mean, Budda deserves it. Like, he's good for him, good for that defense. Like, they needed somebody, you know, like a star to keep around. And yeah, he's awesome. So, he's having a great year, man. You love to see it. And he's going to keep playing well for us in IDP. So yeah, I think he's worthy of a top 6 dynasty rank.
This was the only question I had, Bobo, and this solidifies it now. He's in Arizona. I think Jonathan Gannon is sticking around. This feels like a team kind of on the come up. And Budda Baker, they lock in their best defensive player by far.
Oh, yeah, by far. Budda Baker, this is kind of the back of the Derwin conversation where it's like we sold Derwin probably a couple years ago, but now we're probably back in on Budda, you know. Go get Budda, maybe serviceable, 2 years of safety use for us.
I think he's a
Dynasty.
great sell, to be clear.
I think he's a nice little buy.
Just
you gotta buy him for a 2nd, probably. You okay
Nah,
doing that?
surely Budda's not. Surely you could get,
Dude,
maybe
you
not.
might get him for a 3rd.
I tried to buy him for a 3rd in season before he really started going on this tear. Couldn't get him.
Yeah,
Just had to
You
be a
gotta
second.
Spend a 2nd.
I don't know. Rookie hype season coming up. Maybe you could sniff him for a 3rd.
I think just
Everybody's wanting
Maybe.
picks.
this outrageous tackle pace is something I always want to fade. I always want to sell guys going for outrageous tackle numbers.
I just like Budda. I just think the dude's a little baller.
Yeah, if you want to go
Sound like you don't love him though. Want to just give a third for him. What about a first? You love him so much.
Why don't you marry him?
Yeah.
They should
You
be
wanna kiss him?
first.
glad I didn't send a fourth.
Yeah, I think
insulting.
second round
me
pick. Well, I mean, we talked about a second round pick for Edgerrin Cooper.
Yeah, like a late second for Budda. Like I know it seems like a little steep. You might get roasted in the chat, but like that's
Roasted in the chat.
you're gonna like having that dude on your team.
Sure.
Especially at safety, which you said before we got on mic. Just safeties can go to hell. I mean, this is
Dane Belton, latest example of that, man.
Yeah.
You know, you have Newbin all year doing well, coming on, getting hot, and then
Doing
he gets
well.
hurt. And let's just plug in old Dane Belton, especially if you're someone like Kyle Bellyfuel. Let's just plug in old Dane Belton.
I get why this is happening.
Let's plug him in. Let's get 27 off the waivers. Let's just do that. Let's just run Adam's dreams.
Run
Also, you too, JT. You can go to hell again.
Put them both on the trade block. I mean, here are the top safeties, y'all. This is just insane. So, Brian Branch, Budda Baker, Nick Cross, Xavier McKinney, Julian Love, Brandon Jones has been on a heater. these
Ugo
last few
Amadi.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ugo Amadi is probably up there as well. This is like total points for the season, but I think we're going to look at
I like
splits.
Ugo, by the way. He should rebrand Ugo, not Ugo.
Yeah.
Ugo.
Come
on, brother.
Ugh. Yeah, you want Ugo Amadi. Yeah, we'll do some split talk probably in January. I think Ugo is going to be pretty high up
Well, I
there.
mean,
for
I can
DBs.
tell you right now.
Oh,
what he's-
tell us, Addy.
I mean, since week 10, the homie is averaging 17.3 points per game. That is number one among all corner. They got him listed as a
Ugo?
corner over here. Let me see.
Ugo.
Let me see what safeties is though. But yeah, 17.3 since week 10 for Ugo, and then 17.5 for Budda.
Okay, so he's right there behind Budda in terms of DBs.
Brandon Jones 17.4.
Heater.
So 17.5 for Budda, Brandon Jones, and then Ugo.
Ugo. So there you go. A little safety talk to wrap things up. Yeah, Brandon Jones. He was one that I had high hopes for. I had him in our main league.
He's been great.
He was slower to start the season, but you look here.
And he was also banged up though to start the season. Remember, didn't he? He did something early on. I don't know what it was, but I think he played through it. But I feel like he had a training camp type injury.
He missed the Week 11 game against Atlanta, and yeah, he wasn't playing as many snaps to start off the year. It looks like
He got banged up at some point early on.
but he's been good here. Well, he's had a couple of INTs the last looks like 3 weeks. They had their bye in Week 14.
The tackles are pretty solid. week
Yeah,
to week.
9, 5, 3, 9.
Yeah,
And then before that, 12, 5, 12, 4, 9, 5, 3, 9. So
That's great.
better than Eric Wilson's tackle numbers that we looked at earlier. So there you go. Start Brandon Jones in your linebacker spot instead. Yeah, so that'll do it, folks. That is the Week 15 recap, all the headlines that you need to know. Headed into Week 16. Hopefully, you're still alive in your fantasy playoffs. If you are, we've got the IDP After Show coming up for you with special guest, Canada's finest. John Macri will be on the program with Jace Abbey tomorrow for your Week 16 preview. We've got Justin Varnes coming on, IDP Bets this Friday. We'll have the Sunday morning live stream for you all. So if you've got those lineup questions, get in there and let us help you out. Of course, all the usual resources available over at the website. Boys, I think we'll be back here Week 16 recap, December 23rd, maybe Christmas Eve. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll have a nice little Christmas treat for the folks, though.
We'll see. Yeah, but folks, trust yourself out there. All right.
Yeah.
You know, the
Trust your
answers-
heart.
Answers
Yep.
are within. Okay. You can do this. We believe in you. We've given you everything. We've set you up. You can do this.
We believe in you.
All right.
Trust your heart. Your heart's just full of heartburn, though, so I don't know
Sure.
that I want to trust what's happening in there.
I'm gonna bring some Little Debbie Christmas trees next
Oh,
week.
please do.
Yes,
That'll be fun.
sir.
Me and Adam are gonna eat them, and you're
That's
gonna sit and
right.
watch.
I can't eat them.
I'm gonna bring you some alcoholic Mountain Dew.
Please do. I'll
You're
need.
gonna watch me eat every bite.
I might be too around to do the show at that point. But anyways, thank y'all for tuning in. Enjoy this time of year. Enjoy the football. We got some crazy games coming up on Saturdays
Yeah.
and Christmas Day.
Log
and
off, too.
Special time of year.
Special time
Special
of year.
time of year.
Good
Get off
time
Twitter.
to not spend time with
Yeah.
your family.
Reading threads.
Quit reading threads.
Yeah. None of them are real.
None of them are real. They're all AI
Don't
generated.
play golf.
They're
Get
taking
your
up
hole
your
in
time.
one.
Get your hole in one like
Yeah,
Adam
almost.
almost did.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't quite do it.
Hey,
Also play against Dane Belton.
also,
Also roster Jonathan Taylor. Let him drop the ball at the goal line.
Kyle Bellifield gets hole-in-ones. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, there you go. Be like Kyle.
Y'all take care. We'll see you next week.
It's the IDP.